Hello, Army of Light, Earth Division. It's Shauna L. Francis, and today is March 2nd, 2023. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me. We're channeling Queen Elizabeth, and she has come forward as being a member of the negative reptilian regime while she was alive, and providing us with all kinds of interesting and horrific information about the negative reptilian regime here. I have to say, guys, tonight I'm just exhausted. I've been dragging myself since I woke up this morning. I wanted to take a nap at like 10 a.m. today. So I'm going to get through this fairly quickly because I'm ready for bed. I've been doing a lot of business stuff, personal stuff the last couple of days. I think it's just been a little too much. We've got about 1,200 words here that were exchanged today with Queen Elizabeth, and she seems to be doing well. It took a while, and I was really having a hard time staying super alert and awake through the whole thing, but we did get through it. But fairly short today. Some good stuff here, kind of a continuation of yesterday's theme. We had some pleasantries here, and she got into it. She said, "Thank you, Shauna." She said, "The Mountbattens, the Windsors, all the royal bloodlines, with all the different names throughout the centuries, point to just one central control center, and this control center does not have humanity's best interest at heart, Shauna." All right, we have heard this many times. The negative reptilian regime does not have our best interest at heart, not even close. She says here, "We leave it up to the monarchy to, in essence, police themselves. There's no outside oversight. There's no judicial process. There's no courtroom. All the while, it is expected that the monarchy, the royalty, people in that state of power are acting with integrity, that they act with dignity and honor, that they uphold the standard of morality." She says here there was a long-standing belief that the royal bloodlines, the kings and queens, were appointed by God to rule over the people. They were simply seen as an extension of God here on earth, she said. And of course, that's a very convenient explanation for those who are in these positions, playing out this game on a world stage. But today's monarchy, she said, faces all the same challenges of old, and yet a new evolving set of challenges brought about by the ascension. Shauna, today's monarchy is under pressure, under more scrutiny than ever, being held to task more so than ever before. They will have to work very hard to stay relevant, to stay important, and to stay in control. And she says here, the monarchy will suffer under King Charles' leadership. And the negative reptilian leadership has anticipated this. All right, gang, so if you've stayed up to date with these videos, the reason why they brought Diana in to be with Charles briefly was to procreate, to create she really was bringing in some light and love and heart into the bloodline mix here, to mix with Charles so that they could produce William and Harry, the next in line for the throne. So they already knew back then that Charles was not going to be a great leader, and I don't think any of the kids that Elizabeth and Philip had were really kind of great choices for the throne, according to what Elizabeth has stated in the past. That's not me saying that. That's what I've inferred from what she's said to all of us here. So they've anticipated this, she said. She said, there are plans in motion that will help to see it through, that Charles, my dear firstborn, has a relatively short reign. Well, I mean, Elizabeth had the longest reign in history. I think that Charles is already 74. Hard to say here what this means, but it'll be a relatively short reign, she said. The combined Mountbatten Windsors, Philip and my children, our children's children, and beyond. Shauna, I'd like to pick up where we left off yesterday. This monarchy, she said, is having to contend with the effects of an awakening planet. A planet whose vibratory rate is becoming less and less accommodating to the dense, low fields fostered and maintained by the negative reptilian regime. The royal bloodline, she said, have never been under as much pressure as they are today, and because of this, expect to see extreme actions being taken. These actions will eventually backfire. We've heard this before too from Melchizedek. It will help to dismantle the monarchy even more quickly. Their plan will have the opposite effect of what they're hoping. All right, so there was a really long pause here. I was having such a hard time staying awake. I had actually asked, can I please take an hour break and come back? And I did. I took a little nap, and when I was feeling better, I came back and we wrapped this up here. I'm just so tired today. I'm just dragging. All right, she said here, a monarchy under pressure. What does this look like? Squeezing of the financial markets that they control, freezing of assets. One thing you can bet on, she said, is that the actions they take will not be reflecting the moral high road. They will not be representing compassion and love, she said. But instead, their actions will be meant to show off their power, to reassure of their power. Shauna, the Mountbatten Windsor bloodline may seem like a formidable adversary to the light, but they underestimate the light's staying power and its ability to grow and expand and to be amplified with each passing day. The rituals, the pomp and circumstance, the formalities, the traditions, she said, grow more and more tired as the frequency of the planet raises. That certainly seems to resonate here for me. She said, what was once delightful and exciting to the average person, those who the monarchy works so hard to keep separate from themselves, she said, will increasingly be seen as trivial, wasteful, desperate, and meaningless. She says here, the facade is crumbling, and the tactics that they'll employ to maintain their level of power and energetic control will be what helps hasten their downfall. And she took a break there, and I asked if I could ask a question, and she said yes. And I just said, the Mountbatten Windsors, you're talking about your family, your children. This is the monarchy that you built for the last 70 years. And, it was just striking me at that time that she was just like, this is going down. And I just want to know, how does that make you feel to see that the monarchy is going to be dismantled, that it's going to be crumbling and falling apart? I said, especially for your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. And she said here, Shauna, I wish that I could say that my family, my offspring, is acting on behalf of their own accord, but they are not. While I was able to connect deeply to maternal love for my children, I also understand the bigger picture here in terms of who and what are really making the decisions. Where I sit right now, beyond that life, understanding the larger dynamics at play, the bigger picture, this was my family, but they're also minions of the negative reptilian regime through no fault of their own. They are serving this very dark agenda, and it must stop. As their souls release from the hive mind control system, as they become aware of their choices beyond these immediate lives, they'll have an opportunity to become who and what they truly are. This is the part for which I fight. I fight for their very souls and for any souls who may come after them. I said, thank you, Elizabeth. I asked another question. I said, are you able to provide any specifics on what you're calling extreme tactics that the monarchy is going to do to help keep their control in check? She said, Shauna, unfortunately, no, I am not at liberty to be more specific than what has already been described. The negative reptilians will continue to play their games. It's the same games they've always played, just with more intensity, more frequency, and more desperation. Shauna, what I will say is that you can expect a feeling of agitation, a sense of righteous indignation. There will be a rigidity and a clinging to the old ways that will begin to feel very worn out and out of alignment with this world. It will be very apparent that vibrationally, this is an institution which has run its course, she said. Wow. And we were running out of time. I had some errands to run tonight, and I said, is there anything else you want to talk about? She says, no, this feels complete for me today. All right, so this is a really short video, guys. I have this feeling that the way that she's formulating these words and the way that she's presenting this information, especially when it comes to like what was used to be shiny and glittery is now tarnished and old, you know, or stagnant, you know, and then talking about, you know, the pomp and circumstance and all these traditions and routines that used to be awe-inspiring are going to just seem really tired and overdone, and people are just going to be over it. So I feel like even though these aren't as hard-hitting, disclosure that compared to what she's been talking about previously, I do feel like the word choices here, the energy behind the words, it's important how she is describing this stuff. So I had this sense today that, yeah, this is exactly how this is supposed to come out. All right, team. I will give this another go in the morning or tomorrow afternoon, and I do expect to make another video. I'm a little bit behind on email and such, guys. Thanks for your patience, and thanks for being here, and thanks for all your beautiful comments, and for being beautiful people, and for being so supportive, and for putting yourselves first, and for prioritizing this mission and sharing this journey. I mean, I'm elated to have you along. I'm elated to be walking this path with all of you. All right, team, I love you. I will see you tomorrow. Mwah.